Hey y'all, Brandon Rinas here. Hope you're doing amazing. So I don't know what else to say other than hey y'all when I get going, so that's what you're gonna get, and we'll see. Maybe it'll just end up being this obnoxious first 3 seconds of every video you have to listen to. And if so, sorry man, that's what you get. Today we get to talk about comparing Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. So let's actually do that backwards. It would be Hillary Clinton on the left and Donald Trump on the right, and we're gonna compare them. Now, it's kind of frustrating comparing them to a degree because they actually have a lot in common. But we're going to go over all the things that I could think of, and we're going to try to kind of separate the differences, the pros, the cons, what they have in common, all these different things. And we're going to give an in-depth description of where they differ, where they're common, and so on and so forth. So let's start. How honest or how truthful are Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump? Well, all of us have lied in our day. All of us have been inaccurate. But we can look at this current election, what they've said currently, what they've said over the last year, what they've said over the last couple of years, and the reality is that they are both lying scumbags. There you go. That's what it is. And when you have two lying scumbags, it makes it even more difficult as an outsider to say, hey, this is where they stand on issues because they have a record of lying, you know? So it's like saying, well, what does that lying person stand for? What's his story going to mean? Well, what does it matter? How accurate is it? So it does make this a little bit more difficult on trying to compare them on issues because they're both liars. To give you some examples, we'll start with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has made different tweets. Hillary Clinton points him out in a debate, and then Donald Trump says, nope, I didn't say that. And then you go back to the tweet and you're like, yeah, it's right there, buddy. You did say that. And this happens a lot with Donald Trump. Now, granted, I understand that the media does take things out of context and do that against him, but that's reality. That's part of the business. You're still lying about it, Donald Trump, and you're lying about it a lot. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, I would say they are worse lies, but they are still legit, or they're still lies. She has lied about landing under sniper fire. She said she landed under sniper fire, and it was like a parade that she landed in. There's a slight difference there. She lied about Benghazi being because of a YouTube video. So she's telling family members that their family members died because of a YouTube video, when that was completely inaccurate. So she's a scumbag. When it comes to lying, so is Donald Trump. So if you're going for accurate, yeah, they're not good. Let's go with wars. How are they when it comes to being warmongers? Well, Hillary Clinton, in my opinion, by definition, I think you could put her face there, right next to George W. Bush on being a warmonger. She has never seen a war, a drone strike, anything that involves killing that she doesn't like, including the drug war. Yay! In fact, speaking of that, I think I should put that in there. Let's see if it's in there. It's not, so we're going to have to remind me to talk about the drug war. I'll do it next. So she's a big warmonger. Anything that she can get her hands on, whether it's Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, Gaddafi. She laughed about him dying. We came, we saw, he died. Donald Trump, he definitely seems to be more of the peaceful person compared to Hillary Clinton. But that's all. You're comparing him to Hillary Clinton. That's it. He wants to end ISIS. Oh, we're going to end ISIS by more war. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to win that one. That's just my opinion. He wants to expand the military-industrial complex. Yeah, I think we waste enough money there. Yeah, he says, oh, we need to get better stuff. I don't see him saving money and creating a bigger, better, badder army. Yeah, I just don't. We have 700, 800 bases all around the world. We haven't heard one thing from him where he says, yeah, we need to actually cut back on these. He's actually talked about shooting ships out of the water around Iran when they're flipping us off. Think about that. They're flipping us off and we shoot them out of the water. That's not exactly a peaceful human being either. And this is a huge issue for me. If I want to support a Republican or a Democrat, they're both warmongers. I actually like to protect life, so it kind of bothers me. I'm not a big fan of policing the world because I recognize they're not going to like it. I know I wouldn't like it if somebody was policing me, so yeah, big problem. Let's go right into the drug war because that's a big issue and I don't have it written down and I'll forget because I'm blonde. I'm a ditz. Yeah, that's kind of the way it works. The drug war, yay! Hillary Clinton, all for it, yeah! 3 strikes, you're out. Let's lock up as many black people as possible. Woohoo! That's what the Clintons are known for. Locked up more black people than any other president in the United States. Congratulations to them. They are all for the drug war, which is a disgrace. It's sad. It's pathetic. Donald Trump, more of the same. He wants to end the drug war by blocking off the border and stopping the drug flow coming into our country. it's more of the same. It's absolutely insanity to me. Let people do what the heck they want to their own bodies. If we're going to be having a police state, have the police state protecting us from child prostitution. That would be something to defend ourselves from. Drugs, if that's something that somebody wants to do to themselves, more power to them, coming from someone who doesn't even swear. I don't drink. I don't even do caffeine. But I totally support somebody else doing whatever the heck they want. And what we need to do as a country is protect the innocent from the druggie attacking them to take money to go buy their drugs or whatever else. That's it. We need to be defending people from their actions, not decisions on what they want to do to themselves. That's their own choice. Let's go to more issues. The First Amendment. Yay, they both suck on this issue also. And the First Amendment is important. First Amendment is why people like myself are able to talk on YouTube and bring across our perspectives. Donald Trump keeps talking about how we need to attack the media. The major media is all against me. I need to be able to sue them for being inaccurate. I need to be able to attack them for being inaccurate. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not the case. In our country, we have the First Amendment, and that is to protect all people to say what they want, no matter how inaccurate or how accurate it is. The First Amendment is to protect speech, especially when it's offensive. Not just when we're talking about the weather or, hey, we can say things that everybody else agrees with. It is especially to protect those who want to say something critical, or who want to say something outrageous, or who want to say something that's not going to be popular. If it wasn't for freedom of speech, Martin Luther King wouldn't be able to say what he wanted to say. Colin Kaepernick couldn't be able to do what he does, or anyone else. Hillary Clinton says the same thing. I mean, you could look at Julian Assange or just anybody. I mean, she's completely against free. You could look at how she runs her campaign, how she's in bed with the media, how she controls the media. I mean, she doesn't believe in free speech. She wants to drone strike Julian Assange. Woohoo! Yeah, free speech for everybody except the people that, dig up crap on me. Oh, free speech for all the people except the people that were pointing out how corrupt my campaign was. We'll pop them in the back of the head. Granted, that's alleged, but there's like 50 people that have been popped in the back of the head. So, at a certain point, I digress. I'll shut up. Let's talk about something else. Religion. Well, I have no clue what religion either one of them are. Donald Trump says he is a new Christian. He's converted to be a Christian, all this jazz. Maybe he has. I'm not trying to say this in some sarcastic way. But he has a horrid record for a Christian, so you can't say he has been one. And his record, even currently, is far from great. He's gone through wives like no other. I mean, okay, whatever. And then Hillary Clinton, what's her religion? Anything that gets me in politics religion? I mean, but the real question when we're talking about these religion issues, it shouldn't be an issue. See, the way our country was founded, it was that we can't force our religious ideas on other people. So when we start talking about what religion people follow, it shouldn't matter. Because through our Constitution and through the way our government was supposed to be set up, no matter what your religion, even if you're a Mormon, you couldn't force your ideas down other people's throat. Now I understand this change. We started putting "In God We Trust" in the Pledge of Allegiance, and in the Pledge of Allegiance, and "In God We Trust" on our money, and all these things. But that's not what our country was founded on. That is Christians ramming their ideas down other people's throat, and this is coming from a Christian. But the problem is, if you believe that the Christians have the authority to start ramming their ideas down other people's throats, then when the Mormon gets into office or anybody else gets into office, they can do the same thing. And those Christians have no one to complain to because they are the ones that supported it in the first place. Something to think about, guys. Patriot Act. Yay! This horrible thing that says, well, it started off with George W. Bush. You can now go through people's computers. You can turn on their cameras, see what they're doing in their own house, go through their emails, all without a warrant. Yay! So much for America being free. Well, Hillary Clinton supported all of that. Yeah! And then Obama expanded it, saying that we can now take you from your house by force, detain you indefinitely, and we can even assassinate you in your own home without any repercussions. Yeah! Go America! America! Free country. Yep, that's what we are. And Hillary Clinton supports it all. Donald Trump, as far as I'm concerned, supports it all too. I haven't heard him say anything negative about it. I haven't heard him. He wants more police state, which to me sounds like more Patriot Act things. I mean, yay, so far they're pretty much identical on most everything. Now let's start getting into legal issues. Yeah, they both have plenty. This is what's scary. We're talking about the two people that are the nominees to be president. And this list is not only things they have in common, it is disgusting things they have in common. And they're running for president to run our country. Yikes. All right, legal issues. Well, Hillary Clinton had something that came up yesterday that's a bit of a bugger. Hillary Clinton has now been put under investigation again by the FBI for more emails. Now, in my opinion, there's something really fishy about this whole thing. We're not going to go into it. In fact, my last video was on this topic. But Hillary Clinton is as corrupt as you can possibly find. There is no possible way I could have done what she has done. I couldn't have done 1/10 of what she has done and not be in prison. But Hillary Clinton is a really well-known politician with lots of connections and really good at bribery. And she's able to get away with a lot of things. So anyway, this email investigation has been opened up again. Now, this is the email investigation where she deleted 33,000 emails after getting subpoenaed. So let's get this right. The government subpoenas her, tells her, hey, we need all this information. And then instead of giving the information, she deletes all the information. 33,000 yoga emails, that was her words. 33,000 yoga emails. They must have had a really tight relationship. Then she deletes it all, and then she hires some dude with Mr. Bleach Bit that deletes it even more. Then with the 12 or 15 different devices, I don't remember the exact number, she then beats them with hammers and smashes them to smithereens. That isn't deleting or tampering with evidence, is it? That isn't mishandling classified information or information. That isn't avoiding arrest. That isn't avoiding prosecution. There's so many YouTube videos on this that point out how just with what she's done, with what we know, without any extra information, you could throw her in prison for years upon years upon years. But she's Hillary Clinton and she can get away with just about anything. She's pretty much the definition of rich white privilege. Now, let's go to Donald Trump. Yay! He's such a sweetheart. He's so good. He doesn't have it. Oh, actually, he does have some corruption. So, with Donald Trump, I can defend him a little bit. All right, so first of all, he does have a serious rape charge going against him, a child rape charge that's pressed against him, where one of his fellow dudes that he knows that's actually been in prison for child rape anyway, long story short, a lady is suing Donald Trump for raping her, allegedly. So this is a legitimate thing. Now, granted, this is alleged, so we don't know the details. Where I give Donald Trump a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, he is a wealthy human being. He is very popular. When you're super wealthy and when you're really popular, people tend to sue you just so they can get money. And so I'm not saying that he's innocent at all. He could be completely guilty. If he is, I hope he spends the rest of his life in prison rotting. Okay, so I'm not saying this to defend the man. But at the same time, I can give him a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt just because of that background. Also, he has about 30,000, okay, 30,000 is a strong word. He has at least double digits now of women that just came out of the woodwork. Oh, he raped me, he touched me inappropriately, he said anything, he grabbed my boob. He's so horrible, it happened 30 years ago, I'm now coming out. Sorry, when this type of stuff happens, it actually takes away from the severity of what the real case could be. When you have these ladies that come out and say, this happened 30 years ago, and the only reason I'm coming out and saying this is because you're running for president, the sad part is it takes away from how serious the case is where the actual young lady was suing Donald Trump. And if that's a serious case, again, it takes away from her true story, or her story. Another case that he has going on right now is a class action lawsuit of a bunch of people that are suing him for providing college or, education college, they call it a college, where he gave education on how to buy houses, how to invest in real estate, all these different things. And these people spent thousands of dollars for the education, and then the economy crashed, tanked. A lot of them lost a ton of money, and now they're getting into a class action lawsuit to sue Donald Trump because it wasn't good education, or that it wasn't a college, and he called himself a college, therefore they need to sue him. Now this, I will defend Donald Trump. As far as I know, with all the details I know, I'm going to defend him 100% on this one. All right, so first of all, I've been to different businesses. I trade the stock market. I trade the market a decent amount, and I spent a motherload of money to me on my training. Now, I spent this money on my training, and as I was getting it all and everything else, if the whole entire stock market crashed and I went bankrupt and I went broke, and this place called themselves a college, I can't blame them. They did everything in their power to teach me what they know, blah, 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 blah. I traded the market, and it crashed or whatever else happened, and I failed. That's not their fault. So what Donald Trump has is he has people that got this education willingly because he has a good name, he's got a good record. They then went through the system. The vast majority of these people that are in the class action lawsuit wrote after they left the education that it was the best education they'd ever gotten. It was 5 out of 5 stars, excellent, blah, 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 because he gave out all these little cards for people to fill out so that way he could improve his college or improve his education. So that way the next group of people he could do a better job with. So these same people who loved his education hated it after the whole market crashed, and then they all got butthurt and they wanted to sue him. This is more people just trying to sue somebody, trying to make money. I will not defend that. So that's the legal issues. Now let's go into morals. Yay! Hillary Clinton and morals. I'm not trying to create drama. I'm literally trying to figure out if it's even worth talking about. Hillary Clinton and morals, to me, is... I don't have words to describe how disgusting. Hillary Clinton and the word moral shouldn't be anywhere near each other. And they're like north and south on how far away they are from each other. Hillary Clinton doesn't really seem to protect life, whether it's babies, whether it's people around the world, whether it's drone strikes. She pretty much has no respect for life. She has no morals when it comes to sexual morals. I don't know what morals she has. She doesn't have economic morals. I mean, she screwed over every single race, every single ethnicity, every single income, well, except unless you're wealthy and you donate lots to her. Okay, that's Hillary Clinton's morals for you. Zero. Zippo. Zilch. Donald Trump. Yeah. He's definitely got some moral issues too. He has cheated on, I believe, every wife. He's had multiple wives. He's had, the guy's a player. He slept around. He's bragged about grabbing women by the crotch and he can do whatever he wants. Granted, he was talking about, the type of women that allow that, in my opinion. I don't think he was talking about how he can do this to every woman and he does this all the time. Again, this would be lawsuits all the time, so I don't see that happening. But you get the point, like, he's not some sweet, perfect, moral gentleman. Now, again, we're talking about humans, so they're allowed to make mistakes, but these are pretty impressive mistakes. Donald Trump, when it comes to business morals, there's some questionable things he's done, but again, I would give him the benefit of the doubt on that. I've heard these arguments of how he screwed over contractors, and here's the contractor, here's his sob story, all this stuff. Yeah, okay, as a businessman myself, it's hard to argue that you screwed over all these business contractors and all these different things because it's kind of interesting how the marketplace works. So if I screw over a bunch of people, when I'm trying to hire my next framer, they won't work for me because they like their money. Or they will work for me, but they'll jack up the prices and they'll make me pay them up front. Well, if I do that, now I have a competitive disadvantage for my competition. My competition can hire that same person for less money without putting the money up front, and they can do the same thing, and they have an advantage on me putting me out of business. So when I hear all these sob stories about how corrupt he is or how his morals fail in these areas, it doesn't really pan out to me. So we're going to just leave it at that. Friends and family. To me, this is an important issue. I don't know Donald Trump's close friends, his close family, so I can't really go into that. But from the close friends and family that I've seen, his own kids, his own, like his sons, his daughters, the people that are out there talking about him, even his ex-wives, they have talked very positively about Donald Trump. They seem to be really solid people, hardworking, they seem to have pretty solid morals overall. They seem to be doing an excellent job, working their tails off, leading a good example. And to me, that is important because that kind of, who you surround yourself with oftentimes becomes who you are. Hillary Clinton, on the other hand, okay, she's definitely different than Donald Trump on this. She's married to Bill Clinton. Okay, about as corrupt and sexual pervert as you can come. He's settled rape cases. He's slept around. He's cheated on his wife. We don't even know how many times. As far as I'm concerned, the meme says it all. I'll sleep with anything other than my wife. It's bad. Her other close friend, well, it is Anthony Weiner's wife. Anthony Weiner, the guy that was sending dick pics to 15-year-old girls, allegedly. Now, his wife, she's a disaster too. We can look at their daughter, who's far from great. We can look at John Podesta, who's been going through this email hack. These are the people in Hillary Clinton's tight circle. Not a pretty sight. So that is friends and family. Let's now go to clean energy. Hillary Clinton talks about clean energy. She's going to save the world. She's going to protect the world. Guys, hate to break it to you. For all you Greenpeace 11 people that want to save the world, don't want any plastic in the ocean, and want to end fracking, the last person in the world you should ever support is Hillary Clinton. So let me explain this really quickly. If you're in the top 1%, you're a super loaded, wealthy person that's drilling for oil or anything else, all you have to do is give Hillary Clinton a bunch of money and she will do just about anything you want. And we can look at this. We can look at her record and we can look at what she does for the top 1%. We can look at who she's owned by. We can look at her top donors. She's owned by the top wealthy elites. In fact, I think we're going to get into this later. She is not going to do jack squat for the economy. Or I'm sorry, for the environment, unless it helps the top 1%, which means it ain't going to happen. Now, Donald Trump, on the other hand, he doesn't talk about protecting the environment or anything else, but he does talk about how he wants more competition. He wants more businesses coming here and competing with each other, creating better jobs, better futures, different things like this. Environmentalists, something you should think about is anytime you're polluting atmosphere or anything else, you are actually wasting things, okay? So John D. Rockefeller, this horrible, evil businessman, the reason he was so successful is because he polluted less than his competition, because he was able to find a way to use his waste, and that is what happens when you have lots of competition. People compete with each other, and whoever can pollute the least is oftentimes going to be the most successful businessman. So you can make an argument, and this is just an argument, you can make an argument that Donald Trump is the cleaner person. He actually cares more about not that he cares more about the environment, but his policies and his ideas would protect the environment more. It's an argument, that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying he preaches about it at all. Debt, yes, debt. So right now our country is going to be in $20 trillion of debt by the time Obama leaves office. In case you're wondering, your great-grandchildren will be born into debt thanks to people like Obama, George W. Bush, and Hillary Clinton, who, for the last 30 years, has been in office, public office, and she has done absolutely zero to stop this insane spending, this insane government growth, this insane destruction of the free economy, this insane destruction of jobs as they flee our country. So if you're voting for Hillary Clinton to fix our debt, I can't help you. If you actually think she's going to work on our debt, I can't help you. Donald Trump, on the other hand, in this here, he has independently had studies done to his economic policies, and they say that it's going to expand the national debt also. Now, I have a couple issues. These independent studies on their economic policies and who's good, and we're independent, so we're not Republican or Democrat, so we're going to actually have the critical thinking to point out which policy is better for our economy. Here's my problem. Most economists, most so-called independent whatever thinkers, in 2007 were bragging about how great our economy was. That was right before the 2008 crash, when the housing bubble crashed and when everybody went bankrupt. Yeah. So that is what we have, and these people are now going and saying, well, Donald Trump's going to increase our debt this much, Hillary Clinton's going to increase our debt that much, I don't know what the case is with Donald Trump's plan. I don't know what's going to happen with Hillary Clinton's plan. I can look at Hillary Clinton's record, and I can tell you it's disastrous. I can look at Donald Trump's record, and although it's not in politics, he definitely knows how to make money. He definitely knows how to hire people. He definitely understands economics and how to handle debt, because he has handled a lot of debt. In fact, he has called himself the master of debt. And debt, depending on how you're using it, can be a good thing. Now, I'm not saying $20 trillion of debt is a good thing. It is not. But he is definitely not guilty of the $20 trillion debt. And he has a ton of experience with leverage and debt. And he's also a master negotiator, which could come in handy because our country is at a spot right now where we have no return when it comes to our economic debt. We are going to have to make some serious decisions. And that's something to think about. Economy kind of really goes down to the same road. Hillary Clinton has an incredible record of not understanding economics at all. Her husband created the dot-com crash. She didn't do jack squat to protect the public, the poor, the needy, none of them from that. Nope. Then we have George W. Bush that helped create the big housing bubble. She didn't see that coming. She wasn't trying to help the poor. She wasn't trying to help the needy. She wasn't trying to help the middle class. Yep. That whole thing blew up. She then supported all the bailouts that helped the rich and screwed the poor and the middle class. We're now in another bubble thanks to Obama using nearly identical economic policies as George W. Bush, and she supported all that. She supported all the debt. I mean, economics and Hillary Clinton don't get along. Long story short, she's really just owned by the top 1%, and she'll do whatever it takes to line their pockets, which screws the poor and the middle class people that are normal, like me, like you. Donald Trump, on the other hand, far from a saint. We don't really know what his political record would be, but we know that he's had a lot of financial success. We know that he's had struggles. He's been down. He's still a fighter. He's got out of debt. He's got out of serious financial harm and struggles. We also know that he is pointing out that we are headed towards some really bad economic times, which also shows that he understands economics a lot more than Hillary Clinton. I don't like his economic ideas. To be completely honest, I think they're completely wrong. But he sure as heck understands economics a whole lot more than Hillary Clinton. Supreme Court. Donald Trump says, yeah, listen to me for Supreme Court. I've got all these guys. Here's my list of 20 people. Go through them all. Long story short, Donald Trump is going to support right-leaning Supreme Court people. They're going to be pro-life. They're going to be pro-guns, pro-Second Amendment, relatively educated, good people. Cool. That's what Donald Trump's going to support. Hillary Clinton, well, she hasn't given us a list of anybody that she supports when it comes to a Supreme Court, but we can look at her record as a person. We can pretty much be sure that they're not going to understand economics. We can pretty much be sure that they don't care about the First Amendment or the Second Amendment, because she doesn't really care about either one of those things. They're probably not going to care about freedom of speech too much, because we got to keep her, in president. They're probably not going to care about the Constitution at all. I'm trying to think of anything else that she really cares about. Yeah, they're going to be pro-abortion. It's just going to be more of the same. I think this is pretty predictable. I don't really need to get into it very much. Healthcare! Yay! So remember how we were talking about not understanding economics at all? So Hillary Clinton supported Obamacare. Now, Obamacare is one of those things that is a disaster. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say it's a disaster, I'm not saying that what we had before was good or great or fine. It wasn't. It was all those things. It wasn't any of those things. It was horrible. But with that said, you don't fix a horrible problem by making a horrendous problem. That's kind of stupid. You don't fix a bad leg by cutting off a good leg. It's just not the way it works. And that's what Obamacare has done. It's a disaster. It destroyed the marketplace even more. It destroyed care even more. It makes longer waiting lists. It's just a disaster. Now, Hillary Clinton says, hey, that's a disaster. Yeah, but what we need to do is continue it. We need to expand it. Okay, if that's your style, more power to you. I personally find it insane when the same people that thought it was going to fix the problem then say, you know what, in order to fix this problem, we're going to expand it. This government program was a disaster, but with more government control, it's going to be better. By definition, if you look in the dictionary, that's insanity. Yeah. Donald Trump, on the other hand, actually cares about competition. He recognizes that companies and states should be competing with each other, and that is what drives down prices. Now, I don't know enough about all of his plans to voice an educated opinion, but I do know it involves competition, and that's what it's based around. And in case you're wondering, competition is a good thing. You can kind of look at cell phone prices and cell phone quality and how that's constantly going up and the prices are constantly going down, and that's what competition does. TVs, how they're doing the same thing. You can buy a flat screen TV 2 years old for $100. They're awesome. They're incredible. They're 10 times better than what you could have bought top of the line 3 years before that. It's just incredible. So that is what competition does. Do I agree with Donald Trump on all of it? No, but it's a heck of a lot better than Hillary Clinton's. All right, so then we'll go into education. Yeah, education. Well, Hillary Clinton says, we have public schools. The spending per student has gone up 200% over the years. And our public schools are a disaster. Our education level is a disaster. But don't worry, let's keep doing more of the same. Yeah, great idea. It's kind of like Obamacare. It's corrupt, but we need to keep doing more of the same. Now, granted, I will admit that if you are really dumb and you end up on government programs, or you're not smart, or you end up, anything that ends up on a government program, you're probably going to vote for someone like Hillary Clinton. So she has zero motivation for you to get educated and to get into a better school. And then she talks about caring about blacks, but she doesn't want them to have more school options, more school choices. No, she doesn't. Now, Donald Trump, again, on the other hand, says, hey, let's promote vouchers, which then promotes education. It promotes competition. When you have schools competing with each other on who can get the students, people are going to put their kids in the school that has the best education, the best programs for their schools. So schools will be competing against each other, kind of like the cell phone industry, the laptop industry, TVs, things of this kind of like we were just talking about. Competition versus more of the same. You can make the decision. If you like what we got going on, if you think our public school system is awesome, if you love how college education is going up sky high in prices and the quality is going, if that's for you, Hillary Clinton's she's got you under control. Don't worry about it. She's got you. Corrupt. I feel like this kind of goes under the legal issues, but we'll talk about it quickly. Corrupt. Hillary Clinton's as corrupt as they come. I literally cannot think of anybody off the top of my head that is more corrupt than Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump, on the other hand, I can't call him corrupt. I mean, he's crude. He says mean things at times. He's got a lot of things I don't consider him great at. He's used the system, but he's not corrupt. Hillary Clinton is the system. Donald Trump uses the system. If you want to fix the system, you talk to somebody that's had to use the system. You don't fix the system by voting in someone that is the system. Like that's kind of insane. It's like, hey, I know you're bought and owned by the top 1%, but we're really here. We're hoping you're going to fix the 1% problem. That just doesn't work. So, yeah, that's corrupt. Racist. Yay. To me, racist isn't words, it's actions. So if we're going to go off of words, Donald Trump is a racist scumbag. Why? Well, he says that we need to put up a border. He says that some Mexicans that come across the border are rapists. Some of them are murderers, which is all true. But therefore, that makes him racist against Mexicans. Donald Trump said mean things about black people, so he's racist. Okay, first of all, this type of stuff really takes away from the true disgusting nature of the word racist. Racist is disgusting. But we need to look at the results. What makes a person racist? When you're creating programs that destroy minorities, that is racist. That is disgusting. That is evil. That is twisted. We can look at the black community. There's a gentleman, his name is Walter E. Williams. He's a black man that's seen more racism than most people out there. You can look him up. He's an incredible gentleman. Walter E. Williams. E stands for excellence, using his words. Walter E. Williams says that the welfare state has done something to the black community and the black family that the harshest Jim Crow laws and slavery couldn't do. It has destroyed the family. It has destroyed the community. That's what he says. So if that's what you support, destroying the black community, she's done an excellent job with that. You could also make an argument, and I think a very strong argument, in fact, I think it's the accurate argument, that the minimum wage destroys the black community. But that's Hillary Clinton's record, not her words. She talks all nice and sweet and how amazing they are in front of a camera. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is pointing out what a disaster the black community is, and what a disaster our inner cities are, what a disaster our inner cities have been. We have these Democrats that have been elected over and over and over and over and over in our inner cities 50, 100 years straight. And the black community keeps getting worse off and worse off and worse off. The families are all destroyed. And we're talking 70% of black children, in a lot of cases, are born into single-family homes. They then end up on government programs. They're surrounded by welfare recipients, druggies, alcoholics, broken homes, and this is what they grow up into. How horrible. You are surrounded by scum. You go to a horrible public school, which Hillary Clinton won't let you get out of. You go to this horrible public school, then you try to get out, you try to get a job, and the employers say, I can't hire you. People force me to discriminate against you, and I cannot hire you because you are not worth whatever the minimum wage is set at. Actions speak louder than words. Donald Trump wants to open up that. He wants to bring businesses into those type of communities. He wants to bring tax credits into those communities. Now, I don't like that because that is discriminating against different groups. That is giving special privileges to inner cities. I believe in treating everything equally. But again, if we're looking at actions versus words, Hillary Clinton would be the racist one out of the two of them. Now, if we're just going off of words, and words speak louder than actions to you, Donald Trump's a really racist scumbag. Yeah, really racist. Freedom. Actually, I think I already went over that. I haven't. Dang it. I don't like either one of them on freedom. I'm almost speechless. Like Hillary Clinton doesn't support the First or the Second Amendment. They both are pretty much anti-media to a degree. I mean, they are as long as I can control them. I mean, Donald Trump's for more freedom when it comes to rules and regulations. Hillary Clinton wants more. Yeah, they're a disaster. So freedom is a rough one on both of them. I'm not a huge fan of them. Let's go with health. How are they doing? I mean, these guys are older people. I believe they're both in their mid to late 60s. How are they when it comes to health and being able to run for president? I don't know. I haven't seen their doctor files or anything else. I can only go off of what I see. So we're talking about speculation here. Hillary Clinton just had a huge coughing fit. It's quite possible that it was just a pneumonia or some crazy sickness, bronchitis, whatever it is. I don't know the language. I don't do doctor crap. But long story short, she just had a huge coughing fit. Doesn't mean that much. We all get sick. That happens, right? But we can look at her energy level. We can look at any time she goes up steps. We got people holding on to her for dear life. We can see how she got drug into a van a few days, on 9/11. We can look at how her speech, she has 15, 20-minute speeches in general. She does maybe, one speech a day. I don't think I've ever heard of her doing two rallies in a day. So we're talking typically it's 1 or 2 speeches a week. This is what she's averaging. So she's not that energetic, go-getter type person. Donald Trump, on the other hand, ginormous crowds all the time. He's doing rallies 2 to 3 times a day. This man is the Energizer Bunny. Now, again, we're just talking about overall what we can see. Something else I want to talk about that I didn't write down is grassroots support. Now, Hillary Clinton there's a great argument. I actually had somebody point this out to me when I was making an argument against her, and I appreciate the person doing that. Hillary Clinton may have a tremendous amount of older people that support her, and that's why she has no grassroots support. I don't know. But long story short, if you go onto Hillary Clinton's own pages, her own Facebook page, she's followed by 1/3 as many people as Donald Trump. And out of that 1/3, oftentimes the most popular comments on her own page, in other words, the most comments that have thumbs up on them, are anti-Hillary comments. When you look at grassroots support and you look at them doing live streams, like YouTube's doing live videos of both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump has got 80, 90, 110,000 viewers watching the video at the same time. Hillary Clinton is just stoked if she gets to 30. Like, I think I've seen her at 30,000 one time. And normally it's like 5,000, 10,000. I mean, it's ridiculous. So Donald Trump is outdoing her, 4 to 1. Why is the grassroots support so different? I don't know. I personally believe that people that are voting for Hillary Clinton are more of the same, and they're not excited about it. They're voting against Donald Trump, and so they're going like this to it. And they're just like, I'm going to vote for her, but I'm not going to listen to her. I don't want to listen to her. I know what she is. She's more George W. Bush. She's more Obama. I think people that are listening to Donald Trump are super excited about it. They're like, yes, we got change. We don't have someone that's establishment. And that's cool. That's powerful. I don't think Donald Trump is going to fix half the things that people are excited about, but he is different. There's no denying that. So give him credit for that. Let's see here. What else do we have? War. Nope, we already did that one. Yes! Sorry, I kind of double did a few of these things because I was kind of swapping the order of how I would do them. Donors. This to me is important, and this is a huge black and white difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. Hillary Clinton is bought and owned by the top 1%, by the military-industrial complex, by the Wall Street, by the big banks, by the huge big businessmen, by the lobbyists, by the big unions. So if you want more corruption, if you want less competition, if you want more Walmarts and huge military-industrial complex type people and more Wall Street people lining their pockets, that is what Hillary Clinton is. She is bought and owned. She has nothing for grassroots support. She has nothing for donors. I mean, you look at her, it's ridiculous. Hundreds of millions of dollars. Also, this is a lady that has received millions and millions and millions of dollars from countries that burn women alive and throw gay men off of buildings. Our enemies. Saudi Arabia, Syria, countries like this have given her this kind of money. And then oddly, it's funny how they get weapons deals, Russia had the same thing. They gave her a bunch of money to her charity or whatever it is, Hillary's, whatever that charity is. Clinton Foundation, yeah. And then all of a sudden they get 20% of our uranium. Funny how that works out. Donald Trump, on the other hand, is majorly self-funded. And this is important for all of you who hate Donald Trump, and I am one of them in general. This is a huge plus about Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is a smart businessman. He puts money into things that are going to be successful, okay? He puts money into things that are going to make him money. He realizes, and he has said this multiple times, he is blowing millions and millions of dollars in this campaign. So whether you like the man or not, this is a man that knows he could be using these hundreds of millions of dollars that he's spending himself. He recognizes he could be using this money to create more money, to create more opportunity, to build himself another gold-plated house, to build himself a gold toilet, gold seat buckles, whatever the heck he wants, because he has that much money. But instead, he is wasting it or risking wasting it by running for president. In fact, even if he wins president, he doesn't get it back guaranteed unless he becomes as corrupt as Hillary Clinton. Which it doesn't seem like he is, because Wall Street doesn't support him, the big banks don't support him, all the big unions don't support him, all the military-industrial complex isn't way behind him. So those would be the people he would need to be in bed with in order to make that money back. So he is risking all of this money because he truly cares about our country. And he is taking a step down to move into the White House. This is something to think about. The White House, for almost anyone, is a huge step up in life. Woohoo! Have this huge house. Life is good. Donald Trump has the nicest houses, the nicest furniture, the nicest anything worldwide. He has the nicest things, anything that money can buy, he has. The White House does not. So we're not talking about a step up in life. We're talking about a step down. And we can look at this. This is a man that is spending all of this money to get spat on, to get attacked, now he has to wear a bulletproof vest and fear for his life. To have the media attack him every single day. And if you're arguing that the media is for him or against him, for him and not Hillary Clinton, if you believe that there's even remotely close to equal media coverage when it comes to major media for those two, I can't help you. But we're talking about a guy that just gets slandered and attacked, and some of it he deserves. In fact, a lot of it he deserves. But a lot of it is made up. A lot of it is fraudulent. A lot of it is twisted. This is a man that needs none of that. He's risking all of his money. He's risking his family's fortune, his kids' money. And he's doing it for something that he believes will help our country. That is truly, truly incredible. And whether you like the man or not, that is something you should respect. Because this is not money he's going to get back. This is not putting money into a hotel hoping that you're going to make money back from it. This all just goes bye-bye. So on that, they couldn't be further away from each other. One is owned, and one is putting his own money where his mouth is. Trying to fix our country. Putting his money in a spot where he will probably never get it back. To fix a country that he believes in. That is one thing that really makes me like Donald Trump. Makes me go, man, I can respect that. No matter how much I disagree with some of his policies, he seems to have. He's going all in on this idea. All in. Maybe he will recognize that these things that I disagree with him on aren't correct, and he's willing to make adjustments. Whistleblowers. They both attack whistleblowers. Edward Snowden, Julian Assange. Edward Snowden, Donald Trump attacked and said, the guy's horrible and people are defending him and they shouldn't be. Now, granted, that was a while ago, and as soon as he said that, he hasn't really talked negatively about whistleblowers, but as far as I was concerned, what he said was incredibly negative and either ignorant, because that's my opinion, or it's just sad. Hillary Clinton, she just wants to kill them all. They run for their lives. She wants to drone strike Julian Assange. These are her own words. She's disgusting. And Donald Trump, in my opinion, he was just as bad as her. Now, granted, he shut up about the issue. Hillary Clinton doesn't talk that much about that. Actually, I guess she does talk about it a decent amount because it's going on right now. They're breaking the emails again. Story of her life. But yeah, that's that story. And it's sad that they have that in common. That should be something that That also affects the Second Amendment thing. When I talk about the Second Amendment, these are guys, in my opinion, that are protecting us as American citizens, and both of them are attacking them, and that's sad. But again, that would be one of those issues where I go, Donald Trump, if he's doing all of this, when he gets into office, will he realize, hey, these people were good? Because I know for a fact that Hillary Clinton won't change her mind on that at all, because that would affect her being corrupt and a criminal and doing all this disgusting things that she does. But if Donald Trump is truly trying to change our country and truly trying to fix our country, and he's spending hundreds of millions of dollars of his own money trying to fix our country, when he gets there and realizes, hey, these guys were risking their lives trying to protect Americans, maybe I was wrong about that. There's potential for that. With Hillary Clinton, there is none. The final thing is the Second Amendment. Now, there are people that defend Hillary Clinton and say, she really does support the Second Amendment. Yeah, I'm sorry. You can go and do YouTube videos and you can listen to her, what she said about the Second Amendment. She flip-flops on this issue horribly. To me, this is not a flip-flopping issue. Pretty much, she doesn't believe that you have the right to defend yourself. She is all for, or I said she's way open to the Australian gun laws, which banned all the guns and took them from the American citizens, and they are now admitting that that was a disaster too. Maybe we should be like France, where they can go on whenever the bad guys get the guns, they can go and shoot 30, 40, 50, 100 people, and nobody can shoot back. You know, she supports that. She supports the Chicago gun ban. She hasn't talked negatively about that ever, and we can see how many black people get killed in that. I mean, people in general, but when we're talking about protecting minorities, we can look at how many blacks die from that. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he has been endorsed by the NRA. He is very pro-gun, and he is very pro-Second Amendment. How do we bring this all together? They both have a tremendous amount of flaws. They both have major, major issues. They both are attacking freedoms, freedom of speech. They both lie. But there are major, major, major differences. One is bought and owned. That is Hillary Clinton. One is not. One understands economics, at least to a degree. I mean, the guy's made billions of dollars. You don't make that on accident. The other has been a part of every single major recession in most of our lifetimes. One is as crooked as they possibly come. One has used our crooked system for his own financial gain, but he talks negatively about the crooked system. Pretty much, this election comes down to a choice. You have the choice to vote for somebody who is as crooked, a warmonger, who is bought and owned, a complete puppet, who will do anything to expand her power. Or you have the choice to vote for Donald Trump, someone who has done everything, blowing hundreds of millions of dollars to run his own campaign, who has received donations of the smallest degree, hundreds and thousands of donations from average Joes, from the poor, from the middle class, that desperately want change. Donald Trump understands economics a lot more than Hillary Clinton. He has pointed out where the average person stands. He is talking about inner city problems, and whether you agree with him or not, and I disagree with a lot of things that Donald Trump says, he is not bought and owned. So he has potential to learn things and to improve and to actually fix things. He has a record of taking bad situations and fixing them. And he may have the wrong solutions right now on some things. See, I believe he has the right solution on some things also. But he may have the wrong things, but he may go there and go, hey, I was wrong, and I'm not bought and owned by these guys, so I can change. I can fix things. That is the difference between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. One will not. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get more wars. You're going to get more lining the pockets of the wealthy and the rich. You're going to get more destruction. You're going to get Hillary Clinton lining her own pockets. This is a lady who has made $250 million. $250 million. Serving the American people. Think about that. How do you make $250 million serving? That is messed up. If you're getting rich in politics, you're corrupt. That is all there is to it. Donald Trump, by the end of this election, may be spending $250 million of his own money to get elected. This is money that he will not get back. But he believes that much in fixing our country. So you have the choice between someone who is bought and owned, who will not fix our country no matter what, and somebody who is not bought and owned, has some of the right ideas for sure, and definitely will not be twisted or swayed on major issues, because he can truly actually try to fix things, because he's not bought and controlled. He can go, hey, I was wrong about that. Let's change course. Because people aren't going to go, well, I'm not going to give you money, because they weren't giving him money in the first place. And that is the difference you have between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. One is owned, one is not. One understands economics, one does not. One supports more of the same, one wants change. One supports our public school system, which is a complete disaster. One says, hey, let's actually get competition so that way all people can get a better education. All people can compete and go, hey, this is the best school for my kid. I'm going to bring him there. One person says, hey, our healthcare system is a disaster, but we're going to create this government program. Oh, it's a disaster. We're going to fix the government program with more government. Yay! One says, hey, let's have companies competing with each other. Let's create more competition so that way you have the choice of which company you choose to put your money into. Which company helps benefit you the most? And that is the differences between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. If you guys want more heartfelt videos like this, please hit subscribe. If you guys love this video, please give me a thumbs up. I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much. I apologize. This is a really long video. But I am not going to beat around the bush. I am not going to be Twitter and send in a few word comment and be like, well, think of it however you want. Some things need to be dug into a little bit. Each one of these topics could be a 20-minute video. I went over them as quickly as possible where I was still detailed enough to actually come across as sincere and try to be accurate with both of them. If you guys agree with me, awesome. If you disagree with me, awesome. Please point out in the comments. I love comments. Even when they disagree with me, I love them. Let's try to be positive towards each other. Let's try to correct each other positively. Let's try to not use horrible, crude language. The goal is to build each other up. When we're wrong, admit it. That is all for now, guys. Thank you so much. Peace out. Brandon signing out.